On the Mustangs Sports Network from Learfield, this is the Hilltop Hoop Show, presented by SMU Cox School of Business, with head coaches Andy Enfield and Toyelle Wilson. And now, live from Ozona Grill and Bar on Greenville Avenue, here is your host, Rich Phillips.
Good evening and welcome to another week of the Hilltop Hoop Show. Glad to have everyone here tonight at Ozona Grill and Bar with us, and those of you joining us on the SMU Mustangs Facebook page. We'll talk to head coach Andy Enfield for the men's team coming up here in a few minutes. But first, let's welcome up, as we do every week, the head coach of the SMU women's team, Toyelle Wilson. How are you?
Good. Back in this nice weather, so.
Boy, too warm for February, isn't it?
No, it's nice. Go outside, enjoy the weather. Had a nice run today. It was great.
Good. Well, back after unfortunate yesterday, 79-71 loss at Virginia Tech. Got off to a little bit of a slow start, more so on the defensive end, I think, yesterday than the offensive end, wasn't it?
Well, I think, the biggest thing with Virginia Tech, and they shoot the ball really well, and I'm not exaggerating. They shoot it really good from the three-point line, and that was the biggest thing. We told the girls you had to defend the three-point line, and so we lost one of their shooters a couple times in transition, and so that put us behind. I mean, I always tell the kids we can't, 3 threes is 9 points, and quickly that'll put you down early.
Yeah, Matilda Eck, I believe it is. Yeah,
transfer from Michigan State.
She went 5 of 7 from 3 yesterday afternoon. But the girls stayed after it, rallied back, did you get within 3, I believe it was, in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, we actually went on a little run at the end of the game. But, again, I talked to them about the urgency and having that from the beginning of the game. But their fight, their toughness, their belief, they still have that. And that's what we need from our girls in these games. And I think we're still growing. And in the position that we're in right now, we showed the girls that we still have control of our destiny to get into the top 15 spots into the conference tournament, so they know that.
Nia Robertson at 22 for you yesterday. Jessica Peterson, another double-double with 11 points and 11 rebounds. And really, those are the two you're having to ride so much right now, aren't you?
Yeah, I thought Nia had a really good game. The first game, actually, the Louisville game.
Yeah.
She shot the ball really well from the three-point line, Nia did yesterday. And I thought, sometimes she gets in there and she gets what her mind is set and what she wants to do. But she's been watching film with us and cooperating on how we're going to, how she's looking at things on the floor and what she sees. And so we've been proud again of her growth, and she continues to grow and to help her team get better, our team get better, and help her get better too.
That's all you can ask for sometimes, is that they watch film and they agree with you, right?
Yes.
Not always that way, I'm sure,
No.
is it? Short bench catching up to you a little bit too, because you mentioned last week losing Ella and Shantae for the year.
Yeah, I mean, we have 9 now, including a freshman that just, got healthy to be on the floor. And so they know it's the next man up mentality, and they have to be ready when their name is called. But I really think that our girls are doing a really good job of managing, staying on the floor for long minutes, foul trouble, the different lineups. We've gone small, 4 guards and 1 post. And so you got to kind of adapt and adjust depending on how the game is going.
You mentioned the Louisville game. Great comeback in that fourth quarter. Came up just short on Thursday night at home, 80-75. What a fourth quarter, too. Louisville scored the first 4 in the fourth, and then Nia took over. She had a 9-0 run to start. 17-3 was her personal run to tie that game up with 5:22 left.
Yeah, we had it tied. I think we went up 2, right?
Yeah.
We went up 2, and then I think they hit a shot. I tried to call a timeout after we scored, but the ref said they didn't hear me, and so they finished and got a layup down the other end. But, I thought that was a solid game from everyone, and that pace of the game was really, really quick. But I thought our girls really, believed they could win that game, and they knew. I mean, to be honest with you, every game that we play is tough, but I really do think our girls know they can compete, and if we can keep it close at the end of the game, we can come out, and try and get these wins against the top 20 teams.
Nia had a career-high 32, 19 of them in the fourth quarter. The biggest thing, too, was she was drawing fouls everywhere. She drew 5 fouls in the fourth quarter alone.
Yeah, she was attacking. They were hedging out a lot, so she was attacking them off their hedge, and we were in a bonus, and so it was good for her. And she was, I think, 13 for 13 from the free throw line. So she just had a really good game overall in that game. We shot really well from the free throw line.
Yeah, and she was 9 of 9 in the fourth quarter alone
Yeah.
at the foul line. These have to be the signs, though, that you keep the positive mindset going for your team, isn't it, from games like that?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, our girls, again, we try and take a lot out of every game that we have. And the biggest thing is, executing offensively on the offensive end and then defensive intensity and having that focus on the defensive end. And so our girls have really been locked in with doing that.
Our segment each week with Coach Wilson is brought to you by Ozona Grill and Bar here on Greenville Avenue with the best patio in town and happy hour from 4 to 7 every Sunday through Friday. Specials including free chips and salsa. Ozona Grill and Bar, find your comfort zone. 2 more games coming up this week, and first Thursday night on the road, only against the number 17 team in the AP poll this week, Georgia Tech. It'll be a 6 o'clock tip on the ACC-NX. They're 18-4, won at Miami yesterday. 12-2 at home, too. They've been really tough, obviously, in Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, Georgia Tech is a great team. They have guards that can really score the basketball. I call them the big three. They have a freshman that starts. They have a freshman that comes off the bench, that's second leading scorer. They have a post player that flies in there like a bird, rebounding, offensive rebounding. And so we got to be locked in and making sure that we are limiting them to one opportunity. We got to take care of the ball, and we got to get back in transition.
3 really good guards, too, all in double figures with
Yep.
Kara Dunn, Danny Carnegie, Tony Morgan. Who's most dangerous amongst that group?
I would say probably Morgan, but Carnegie's a freshman, and then Dunn's a 3-spot that can really score the ball at all 3 levels. So we're definitely going to have our hands full. But I'm excited about, like, on the road. Like I told you, I like the road. I like the atmospheres that the different ACC. I mean, the atmosphere at Virginia Tech was unbelievable. I didn't know they sung a song before the football games, the men's basketball games, and the women's games. But the whole crowd is there singing. I forgot what
Is
song
it Inner
was it?
Sandman?
Yeah. And it was unbelievable. I don't know. Did y'all play? I think the men played it. Did y'all play at Virginia Tech?
No, we play there Wednesday.
Oh, okay. You played there Wednesday?
Yeah, but I've seen the videos, especially
Oh
for their
my
football
God,
stadium.
it's
insane.
unbelievable.
Yep,
Yeah,
unbelievable.
they're singing. I mean, I was singing with them. I knew the song too, but I was like, this is what you want to play in front of. And I mean,
Yeah.
they're standing up, they're singing that song, and it's unbelievable. I mean, the men will see it this week.
I've seen the videos, and it looks really
It's
awesome.
awesome.
For the football stadium, too, it is.
Yeah, but Virginia Tech gets
outside.
a good crowd. Like I said, that's what I like, the environments. And, I always tell the girls, this is what you dream about, to have these environments on the road. They don't know anything about SMU. Let them know who we are.
The Georgia Tech head coach, Nell Fortner, in her 6th season there. She's been a head coach at the WNBA in
Yep.
Indiana, head coach for Team USA, too. Obviously, great skins on the wall. What kind of style does she employ?
I mean, she wants to play. She wants to score in the first 8 seconds in transition defense or transition offense. Great guard play. Want to get you off the bounce. They'll shoot quick shots. They have a lot of possessions, and they're gonna run. So we know we have our hands full. We're gonna work tomorrow, work Wednesday, leave out on the road, get a practice there, and then get ready Thursday.
And then back Sunday at Moody Coliseum at 2 o'clock. That's against Pitt. It is National Girls and Women in Sports Day. Before the game at 1:15, there's an inspiring women's panel, and then after the game, a kids clinic. You're going to have volleyball and soccer there to work with the kids along with your team.
Yeah, we just, like I said, we just came from Virginia Tech, and they had their National Women's and Sports Day, and it was really cool. But I'm excited. That's a big day for us. We like all little girls to come out and kind of see different sports interacting with each other, and it's really important for them to see us interacting with the other sports and them interacting with our players and staff. And so we're really excited. We make that a big day. Obviously, it's a revenge game with us, with Pitt, and so our girls are going to be ready. I know they're going to be ready for that and excited to compete on that day. So
that was my other question. Do you feel like you owe them one?
yes, of course. I mean, but again, Pitt hasn't won since they beat us, so we got to beat them because we want to stay in that top 15 right now to be able to play in the postseason.
All right, well, that'll be Sunday, 2 o'clock at Moody Coliseum, and again Thursday night at 6 o'clock, Georgia Tech and SMU on ACC&X, and John Hendry will have both those games on the SMU Mustangs app and the Varsity app. Toyo, appreciate it. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Toyo Wilson, SMU women's basketball coach. We'll get Andy Enfield up here next on the Hilltop Hoop Show. Welcome back here to the Hilltop Hoops. Rich Phillips with you here on Monday night, 7 o'clock at Ozona Grill and Bar and on the SMU Mustangs app. If you want to support your favorite Mustangs, join SMU's official NIL partner, the Boulevard Collective. The Boulevard leverages NIL and the DFW community to develop excellence and leadership capabilities in SMU student athletes while supporting the missions of SMU and the SMU Athletic Department. Visit boulevardcollective.com to join and learn more. And let's welcome in now the head coach of the SMU men's team, Andy Enfield. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Bring that up just a little bit there. Good week for you last week. You beat all your Pac-12 schools that came to town last week.
Yeah, our team had a good week. Cal and Stanford were playing very well. Cal had won 3 or 4 in a row. Stanford had won 4 in a row. So we knew it would be a tough week for us, but our guys responded and played very, very good basketball. Saturday,
85-61 over Stanford. Actually, when I was eating lunch today, I caught some of the replay on the ACC network, and I remember clearly that it was 33-11 at one point in the first half, and at the time during the game, I thought, man, we're playing so good on offense. But as I watched it this morning, I was like, my gosh, we're probably better on the defensive end, weren't we, in that first half?
Yeah, defensively we were really good, as good as we've been all year. I think the last 3 games we held our opponents to 33% or under from the field, or 34% or under, 29% at NC State. So defensively we made a big improvement from the beginning of the year, even from last month. So our players have responded. They've been working very hard in practice to improve defensively as individuals and also as a team.
We've been talking about it all year long. What's been the key to this recent emergence defensively?
Well, they're bought in. They understand team concepts, and they're playing extremely hard. So you can play hard and be in most games, but they're playing with a purpose and also covering for each other, which took a while to get used to as far as what we drill in practice. And then once the game starts, the recognition sometimes takes a little bit, and so they're recognizing things as they happen or anticipating them before they happen.
Stanford only turned it over 14 times. 10 of them were forced. They were 10 steals by your guys, and there was one. I don't know which of their guys, but he's going up to shoot, and Matt Cross just comes behind and jumps up and just took the ball right out of his hands. And that was incredible right there.
Well, Matt's very tough. Yeah, he's one of a kind. You don't find too many guys like him that just love to throw his body around. And we did have 10 steals. I think we're in conference games. We're leading the league in steals now, and that's a far, far ways away from. Thank you. Beginning of the season, I think in our preseason games we had 1 steal and 0 steals in our 2 preseason games. So we've come a long way from getting deflections and being in the right spot and being aggressive.
Sabet Yukatolu had definitely his biggest individual challenge going up against Maxime Renaud, the guy leading the league in both scoring and rebounding. I don't know, it seemed like it to me. Did it seem to you that looked as locked in, as focused as he has been all year? It looked like he was ready for that challenge.
Yeah, he was terrific. I don't know if you recognize this, but he was moving very well. He had been out a week because he was injured and only practiced 1 day. So our strength coach, Curtis Schultz, and our trainer, Miles Thornton, they did an amazing job just getting ready, keeping him in shape and getting prepared to play when his injury healed.
Renaud did get his numbers, 18 points, 10 rebounds, but he was 6 of 17 shooting. He turned the ball over 3 times. Did Sabet really make it tough on him through times?
Well, you don't guard Maxime by yourself. You have to do it as a team, and that was our game plan. Sabet did a great job on him. So did some other guys. We helped. And when you have a talented offensive player like Renaud is, you just have to make it challenging for him to get open, clean looks. He got a couple, but most of his shots were contested, and he's just a terrific offensive player, very hard to guard.
That's the most Sabet's had to play on the perimeter, right?
Yeah, he was inside, outside, but it was moved more like a forward than he did a center. He was looked like he had an extra quickness in his step for some reason.
And he had a 3.
He did. He made his first 3 of his career, and that brought a smile to my face. But then he tried a second 3 after he missed 2 layups. That didn't bring a smile to my face.
No. It brought Sabet to the bench, if I remember right, just for a moment.
Well, that was right after, Maxine had a 3 in his face after he missed 2 layups in his 3. So, he came to the bench pretty quickly. Sat down for a couple minutes and went in and then dominated for a few minutes. He played great.
Yeah, he ended up with 17 points, 7 rebounds. Cario Oquendo, outstanding off the bench Saturday. 5 shots is all he took, and he made every one of them. He made all 4 of his free throws. He didn't turn the ball over once. I mean, is this guy kind of your energy guy off the bench for you every night?
Yeah, I think we have 6 players averaging double. Carrio's at 9.95, so we'll give him double figures. But we're the only team in the nation that has 6 players averaging double figures, and he is the one guy that he can come off the bench and make a huge difference with his energy. He's become a much better defensive player, and he is a very explosive scorer. He made a couple threes, but then that lob dunk, he was able to get in transition over somebody, going full speed. I wish I would have had that athleticism. I'd probably still be playing in the NBA if I had that athleticism, but that was just a special, special play.
For 6'4", he is one of the more forceful and emphatic dunkers I've ever seen at his height.
Yeah,
there's some guys at 6'4" that can't even make it up there.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Yeah, he is fun. And yes, that alley-oop, I saw him afterwards to let him know I came out of my seat on that one because that was a big one. Overall, offensively, 53% from the floor, 12 of 24 from 3. But offense is something that can be fickle. That's why you got to harp so much on defense, isn't it?
Yeah, we had 85 points with 5 minutes left, I think, or 83 points with 5 minutes. Only scored 2 over the last 5 minutes. So for that first 35 minutes, we played very good offense. We moved the ball. Boopy had 10 assists. We had 20 assists as a team. And so for Boopy, not only did he have 10 assists, but he probably made 4 or 5 other penetration kick-outs. And then that guy, one of his teammates, made the extra pass. So when we're moving the ball offensively, that's why we lead the league in scoring right now, because our guys are unselfish. As I said, we have 6 guys averaging 10 or more points. No one goes out there and gets 25 or 30 every night. It's a team effort, and they understand that they can't do it alone. So it's fun to watch when they do it the right way.
And the other game last week, Wednesday night, 76-65 over Cal, and that was the game you mentioned that Cement Yugatolu missed, his first to miss since he wasn't eligible for the first 2 games. Maybe it was a good spot because they're big. Marty Sissoko was also out with injury. But overall, you had to be pleased with the guys' response to have one of your key guys out and the way they played.
Yeah, we hadn't played with Cement since the first 2 games of the season, so he had been a very valuable player for us. But other guys responded. I thought the whole team stepped up and did what they had to do.
Matt Cross, 15 points, 14 rebounds. You touched on this a moment ago, but from him, it's just all toughness and hard work, isn't it? I mean, he's got obviously talent, but toughness and hard work makes the difference, right?
Well, that's who he is, the toughness part, but he's a super talented young man, and he has a knack for rebounding. He anticipates, but his pursuit of the ball is very special, very unusual. You just don't see that at this level very often, but he pursues the ball and has an anticipation which puts him in the right position to pursue it. So he's one of the best rebounders I've ever coached in 30 years.
You guys got the lead to 13 in the second half. I thought at that point it was about to be the big kick to put them away. Never could quite do that. They hung around. What did Cal do to stay in that one?
Well, Cal had won 3 in a row against some good teams, so they were playing well. And there's a lot of spurts and runs in these games, and Cal was they're a very good basketball team, or at least have been playing very well, and they've improved a lot since the beginning of the year. So we knew it was a dangerous game for us, and so I think we won by 11 without our big guy, and they had a guy out, and so I thought it was a pretty well played game on both parts.
Both games had good crowds. Students are showing up right behind us too. You start to feel the energy there at Moody Coliseum on the home games?
Oh yeah, especially the crowd during the week was great for a Wednesday game, and the Stanford crowd was outstanding with just the energy that the students showed up. I know they're back in session now, so we need that student section packed every game, and the community is definitely supporting. We can feel the energy.
And celebrities there. George W. Bush, Tony Romo right behind us with Rasheed Rice. It was a big day.
It was great.
Great to get the former president to come to your games, isn't it?
Well, I know his wife Laura went to SMU, and he's a big sports fan. Obviously, he played college baseball, but I think we're making basketball his favorite sport.
Yes, he's been a big fan of it for years here at SMU. This is the Hilltop Hoop Show. Each week when we talk to Andy Enfield, it is brought to you by the Cox School of Business. Long-term career success begins at the SMU Cox School of Business with the number 27 full-time MBA in the nation. Our commitment to your success, new state-of-the-art facilities, and welcoming national network combined to help open doors here in Dallas and beyond. Learn more at smu.edu/Cox/Pony Express. Well, shortly before the show, I did learn of a little bit of sad news involving SMU basketball, that former coach John Shumate passed away today at the age of 72. He was the head coach here 1988 to 95, took us to the NCAA tournament, matter of fact, in 1993. You actually had met Sean at some point?
Yeah, what a terrific coach for his entire career. and very sad to hear the news. I know he's beloved around here. I've heard his name many, many times since we've been here, just in the 7 or 8 months, and so we feel for his family, but he was certainly just had an incredible basketball career.
I know I greatly impressed him one time. In 1989, when I was selling shoes at Foot Locker at Richardson Square Mall, and I sold a pair of shoes to him for his about 3 or 4-year-old son, and he was blown away that some 17-year-old kid knew who he was, actually. But that's kind of the sports dork I was when I was 17 years old, and I kind of still am at a much older age. So, but yeah, hate to hear that about John Shumate. Like I said, 1993 took SMU to the NCAA tournament. Some other news in coaching world here today. It was announced that Florida State coach Leonard Hamilton is going to step down at the end of the season. This is the guy that gave you your start in college basketball coaching. You'd been in the league a little bit, but 06 to 11 you coached with Leonard at Florida State.
Yeah, Coach Hamilton, when I left the NBA, offered me a position on his staff, and my wife and I flew down to Tallahassee to meet with him and his wife and get to know them, and what just an amazing man he is, and what a great 50-plus career he's had in the game of basketball coaching as an assistant coach and then a head coach. He built the Oklahoma State program, then Miami when they were joined the Big East, and they ended up winning the Big East, and what he did at Florida State for a 22, 23-year career is just one of the best to do it in our sport all time. So I know after this season he'll be able to, with a big smile on his face, relax a little bit, but I know there's a lot of basketball that he wants to play here with his team, and of course we played them the last game of the season in Tallahassee, regular season in Tallahassee, so looking forward to seeing him.
Yeah, we were chatting here, and he reminded me, because we've only played Florida State twice ever here at SMU, last season and in 06, and he was the head coach both times, and Andy reminded you were on that staff in 06.
That's right. It was my first year at Florida State, and Coach Ham's just a mentor for me personally, how to run a basketball program. There's not too many guys better than Coach Hamilton in this history of the sport at doing that, and what I learned from him was people need to like you as a head coach, because generally your players don't like you. So Coach Hamilton, he's beloved by so many people, has made such a big difference in the game, and all the student athletes he's coached over the years. Just can't say enough great things about him.
Keeps you employed when people like you, doesn't it?
So most of the time.
Most of the time it does. Do you still have some things you do today that you learned from Coach Hamilton?
Yeah, a lot of defensive stuff we do. And, when you become a head coach, you change. So when I was assistant for 5 years at Florida State, and my first head coaching job was at Florida Gulf Coast, and we knew at the mid-major level it was different than coaching in the ACC. We didn't have the talent level and the athletes, so we had to develop our own system, recruit to what we were trying to do, and that's how Dunk City was born. So we changed our offensive system to kind of do what we want to do, and then defensively, but a lot of the same stuff that we recruited and how we played defense with the size and length that we had at Florida State. If you look at our USC teams and our the team this year, a lot of similarities.
Do you consciously try to be a mentor to the guys on your staff?
Well, that's the goal as a head coach, to get all your staff head coaching jobs if they want to. Fortunately, I've had quite a few guys go on to become head coaches, and we have. To me, I have one of the best staffs in the country right now. Probably the most balanced staff I've ever had as a head coach, with so much expertise and personality, and the teaching. You see our team has gotten a lot better this year, individually and as a team, and that's because of our coaching staff. And our strength coach, Curtis Schultz, has been with me 12 years now, and Coach Chris Capco, associate head coach, been with me the whole time, and he has actually had opportunities to become a head coach and decided to stay as an assistant until he gets that right opportunity. And Coach Mobley and Coach Morris, and Coach Mobley's got two sons in the NBA himself. So just imagine, the teaching that goes on with our big men. You see how much Sumet has improved this year, and Coach Mobley is a big part of that. And Jay Morris, and then Dana Ford we hired this year. He's been a head coach the last 10 years, so to have that expertise, and then Kirk Karras and Jeremy Hart, our director of recruiting. We have the 6th-ranked recruiting class in the country, and Jeremy Hart's our director of recruiting. And then Mike Swetzer, director of operations. He doesn't get enough credit because he makes everything work. And so I think, and our trainer, Miles Thornton, I just mentioned him because to get Sumet back that quickly, what he does on a daily basis is amazing. And then we hired Zach Chu from the NBA from the Dallas Mavericks and the Pacers, and he really has been a huge asset with his knowledge and his creativity, especially on the offensive end. So I can't say enough about these guys because without them, your head coach is only as good as your players and your staff.
Takes an army to do it, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it sure does. All right, we got a couple questions from the audience to ask you here today that were handed to me. First one, you mentioned Jeremy and the recruiting. Are you full on recruits going into next year? And then if you could comment on the three guys you've already signed for next year.
Yeah, we have 4 commitments, 3 signed, so I can talk about the 3 signees. And Jaden Toombs and Jermaine O'Neal Jr. are teammates at Dynamic Prep, and they're having a terrific season. I think they're like 24-4. Jaden is a 6'10", really skilled, big guy. He can put it on the floor. He can shoot it. He's a great passer and very, very smart with his IQ at the game of basketball. And Jermaine O'Neal Jr. is a coach, ex-player / coach's son, and Jermaine O'Neal's senior. And he just has improved so much over the last year with his athleticism, his shooting, his defense. He's one of the best defenders we've seen at the high school level. Nigel Walls, a 6'10", out of Houston, is our other signee, and of course he's a top 75 player in the country on the rankings, and we think he has an amazing upside because of he works out every day at 6 a.m. With John Lucas. John runs a program, and he played AAU with John's program. It's called John Lucas. It's named after him, but they get up and they're in the gym at 6 a.m. every single morning, and that includes Saturdays and Sundays.
That's the former Rockets guard, John Lucas, right?
John. He played at Maryland. Was an All-American tennis player in basketball. First pick in the draft. Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
That guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Ex-coach of the Spurs. Yeah. He's a.
Some of the kids in the room don't know who he is. So.
That's right. So anyway, we're really thrilled with those with all our recruits that are coming next year. We think we can develop this program to have these Dallas players and one from Houston, these Texas recruits kind of take ownership over the long term as we fill in our needs from the transfer portal in the spring.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the other part of it is it's hard to know how many spots you have, isn't it, in this day and age of transfer portal?
Well, we know we have 5 seniors, so we know we lose 5, and there are no assurances anymore with the transfer portal NIL. Players are jumping around like crazy in the sport and really all sports, and so we would like to keep the guys that can't come back, but we'll wait till after the season to figure that out.
Do you talk to any of the guys about that during the season, or
Don't
let
mention
that go?
it. One, we're just focused on Virginia Tech on Wednesday night,
Fair
and
enough.
what kind of dinner we're going to have tomorrow when we get there.
Absolutely. Well, we know Curtis has that taken care of.
I hope the chocolate chip cookies are as good as yours. I'm sure they won't be.
One other ask the coach question here from the crowd. When you play zone defense, what zone defense do you like best?
Well, at Florida Gulf Coast, we played a matchup, 3-2 matchup, and that was very effective for us because we had agile big guys to get to the corners, and we were able to switch and pass off cutters. At USC and then here at SMU, we play more traditional 2-3 where we bump on the wings and keep our big guy more in the middle of the lane, and he does that occasionally get to the corner on an overload, and then we have to rotate the zone. So the 2-3 can be very effective. Like the NC State game, I thought it really helped us in the first half. They were driving by us and getting to the rim, and then we went zone and held them scoreless for a significant amount of time. So our zone can be effective in spurts. Man-to-man is by far our best defense, but I think to mix it up occasionally can help as long as your team is fairly good at it.
I know some coaches don't like zone at all. Do you like it?
I do because of the change of pace, and some teams don't go against zones a lot, so when they see it in a game, they're just not as used to playing against it. So sometimes you can steal a few possessions just for them getting used to what they're playing against.
All right, just one game for you this week. It is Wednesday night at Virginia Tech, 8 o'clock. It'll be on the ACC Network. Scott Garner and I will have it on the SMU Mustangs app and the Varsity app. Hokies 10-12 on the year, 5-6 in the ACC. They did win their last 2. Florida State and Virginia both on the road. 1-point win in a rivalry game on Saturday has to have them feeling pretty good, I would assume.
Yeah, that was a great game. Virginia Tech beat Virginia at the buzzer. Actually, Virginia missed a shot at the buzzer, and Virginia Tech played very well. They shoot threes. They very, very dangerous from the three-point line. Have some of the best shooters in the ACC, and I think they made over 10 threes 4 out of the last 5 games.
Toyel kind of alluded to it. Castle Coliseum, that's got to be one of the toughest places in the country, isn't it?
I haven't been there many, many years since my Florida State days. What she said about the song, and I do know that song too. So We'll see. I mean, all the road games were tough in our league. It's really hard to win on the road. And fortunately, we're 4-1 in true road games and 3-0 on neutral sites. So our players have somehow been able to get rid of the distractions and really focus on winning.
Toby Lawal leads them in scoring and rebounding. Good shooter, too, 59% from the floor. What kind of a scorer is he?
Well, he's the most athletic player I've seen in college in a long time. So supposedly he has a 50-inch vertical leap. I don't know if that's true or not. I coached a guy, Al Thornton, with Coach Ham at Florida State, who had a 46-inch vertical, was a 14th pick in the draft of Clippers. So when you see this kid, Lawal, his second jump is so quick, and he dunks everything, and he also shoots 40-some% from the three-point line. He's a pretty good player.
As a team, they'll average right around 70. Will they try to slow the pace down on us, you think?
I have no idea. We're going to try to play our game and make it a defensive. Try to get out and push that pace when we can get some stops.
What will the bye this weekend do for you and for your guys?
Well, it give me a chance to go on the road recruiting and see a player or two. It's so hard for me to get to see high school players during the season. We're so focused and we travel. But it comes at a good time for us. We're playing very well, and just to give us catch our breath a little bit and get ready for a big week next week with Pitt and Wake Forest.
Well, this week, the SMU women again play Thursday night at Georgia Tech, 6 o'clock on ACCNX. That's the streaming. You can get that on your ESPN app. And then Sunday at home, 2 o'clock against Pitt. And the men will be Wednesday night, 8 o'clock on the ACC network at Virginia Tech. Andy, appreciate it. Look forward to another road trip this week. Thanks, everybody, joining us here tonight. We'll see you next Monday night for the next edition of Hilltop Hoops.
This has been the Hilltop Hoop Show with head coaches Andy Enfield and Toyelle Wilson. Presented by the SMU Cox School of Business and broadcasted live from Ozona Grill and Bar on the Mustangs Sports Network from Learfield.